Hey, what's up, guys? I hope you guys are doing good out there. And I want to take a moment to wish all the fathers out there happy Father's Day. All right, I want to go ahead and just jump into things. Last week, there was a lot of volatility based off of what the Fed said. I mean, he really didn't say too much of anything. He didn't change rates at all, he didn't hike rates or cut rates, he left them unchanged. And on the committee, half of the committee wanted and backed hiking rates, and half of the committee backed not doing our rate cut. So they're just a mixed bias right now in the Fed, and with it being a new Fed, we don't really know. Everything's really up in the air, so we have to see what Kevin Walsh is going to do going from here. But based off of some of the people wanting the hike, and based off of that potentially being a possibility, that's why the market sold off after his Fed meeting on last Wednesday. Then following that on Thursday, remember the market was closed on Friday. So on Thursday, Trump gave more news with the Iran war, just basically trying to solidify more that the deal is going through and that they're going to get it done and everything's going to be done. And that pushed the market higher. That's just a quick recap of last week. And to touch on this up and coming week, and as far as any catalyst, in my opinion, what I'm watching for is Micron. On Wednesday, they're going to report earnings, and based off of what they say and how they react to how the stock market reacts to them and what they present is going to dictate a lot what happens with the semiconductors as far as like Nvidia, AMD, and these other tech companies. So I'm going to keep a close eye on that and make sure that I capitalize on any opportunity that presents itself from that. I know that there's another report that comes out on Friday for GDP. However, I don't think that that's going to be really a big catalyst, not anywhere close to like how Micron is going to be a catalyst. I think we should just keep an eye on that and keep a close watch on what they say as far as guidance. And if they're giving good guidance and they give good numbers and they beat all across the board, the stock is going to go higher and it's going to bring other stocks higher, and the stock market is going to push even higher than what it is. And vice versa, if they don't beat, it's going to drop and it's going to bring some stocks down with it as well. So please keep an eye on that. Please pay attention to that. I know that I was talking about SpaceX a lot last week. I'm still very excited about that stock. It has had a pullback. I just think it's a good buying opportunity if you plan on having the company for long term. I'm not really trading SpaceX. I'm more of trying to accumulate long term shares in it. Well, that's all I got today for a talk. I'm going to go ahead and get into the charts now. All right, I'll catch you guys later. Welcome, guys. All right, the first stock I'm going to go ahead and start off with is XOXL. I'm watching that because it's a semiconductor ETF, and I think that they're going to catch a lot of sympathy from Micron's earnings on Wednesday based off if Micron either moves to the upside or to the downside. So it's something that I'm going to be eyeing pretty hard. Also, I know that they are almost to their all-time highs. So if they can break out of this level right here, they can have a push further to the upside. All right, you can see right here where the all-time highs are. And like I said, you can see that there's a rejection right here where it didn't get to close over the previous all-time highs. So we can see this week if there's a push to that again and a breakthrough, and we can take that breakthrough if there is, or we can take that rejection and the reversal to the downside if they can't break through. So just keep an eye on that. All right, the next stock that I'm going to talk about is QQQ. These are the levels that I have right now for QQQ. I want to talk about real quick how on last Thursday I had a bias thinking that the stocks were going to go down because of what the Fed had said and what he didn't say, honestly. And I stuck with that bias and I paid the price for that. And That is to show you guys that you have to be fluid in the market like water. You have to mend to whatever circumstance or situation is going on in the market and go from there. Don't be fixated on one thing because you're going to get burnt doing that. And that happens to the best of us. You're always going to make mistakes no matter how far you get in this game. You're going to keep making mistakes. It's what you're going to do after you make those mistakes. I just want to let y'all know that real quick. You can see that these are the previous highs for QQQ back here. So if we can break these recent highs over here at the around the 748 level, then we can get the pushing to the high. We can get pushing higher. So pay attention to that. All right, the next ticker symbol is NVIDIA. All right, well, these are the levels that I have for currently with NVIDIA. I think that they might catch a bid based off of this Micron move as well, seeing as they're a semiconductor, one of the biggest ones. So I'm paying attention to them. I pay attention to them regardless. I day trade them every single day that I'm going to get on the charts. Uh, the biggest thing that I'm paying attention to has to be this bigger red box right here around the 212 to 209 mark. Here goes a better view of it. You can see how long it's been implemented in the charts and being respected by these candlesticks. So I feel like if we can break above this level, then we're gonna get a bigger push to the upside because Nvidia hasn't really went anywhere for a good little minute. And vice versa. If we can't get over this level, then we're gonna have a bigger push to the downside. So be aware and watch that as well. All right, the next ticker symbol is Apple. You can see how it's consolidating and Apple hasn't really went anywhere for a while. So I'm looking for a breakout move anytime here based off of they're having this deal with Google Gemini that they're going to implement Gemini into Siri's interface. I think that's going to be a big deal and get their hands into this AI race. So I'm just paying attention to Apple based off of that. There's nothing else really going on. These are the levels that I have for. Feel free at any time to pause so that you can get the information and write down these levels or go on your own chart to mark these levels for yourself. All right, the next stock is Tesla. There hasn't been really anything going on that much with Tesla. It hasn't really had any big moves. However, it is a very volatile stock, and at any point, I feel that the volatility can kick in. So I'm going to be paying attention to that. That's another stock that I pay attention to daily. I think that with the SpaceX and everything that Elon has going on, it can have a catch a bid and move a lot. The next stock I want to go ahead and talk about is Palantir. With the truth deal with the US and Iran, I think that Palantir is going to move based off of that. It hasn't moved or went anywhere this whole year, pretty much. It had a bigger move the first time that there was talks about a peace deal, all the way up from this 120 area to 162. So that's what I'm looking forward again to do. That's what I'm looking forward to do again and move back up to this 160 area and possibly above. So keep an eye on that. These are the levels that I have for currently. Breaking through these levels are confirmation that we're going up to the upside. If we break this last level at the bottom around this 125 level, I feel as if we're going to have a move to the downside. So please pay attention and watch for that. This is the 160 area that I'm saying that it could go all the way back up to. All right, the next stock is SpaceX. These are the levels that I have for currently. It hasn't even been on the market for that long, so it's respecting these levels pretty good. I'm gonna play these levels and continue just to keep an eye out on what's going on and how it's reacting to these levels. I do have long term shares in this company as well, though, and this is like a long term play that I'm trying to look to get into and build a position in. But however, I am trying to capitalize on day trades if the opportunity presents itself. All right, the last ticker symbol is going to be Micron. I don't really have too many levels on Micron just because of the volatility that it's been experiencing. It's honestly been really hard for me to gauge the levels that it's respecting and it's not. So I haven't really been adamant about putting levels on it. I've just been more so playing. I've just been more so paying attention to the price action and the market structure that it's making. So I'm just gonna see what goes on Wednesday and go from there. So just keep an eye on these things and remember that Micron's earnings is a big catalyst this week. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week and happy Father's Day again to all the fathers out there. If you guys want to get more one-on-ones with me or have more questions that you want to ask that I didn't go over in here, feel free to join the Zillionaires Club. It's my Discord. I'm going to try to put the link in the description. I hope you guys have a great day. Until next time.